Hi there, my name is Ayush Gupta, and in this video we shall be continuing with our series on GitHub Fundamentals. So we have already covered our first video on creating a GitHub account. So we shall be continuing with our second topic, that is installing Git and creating a new repository. So before we move on, first I would like to discuss the difference between the Git and GitHub. So generally, like, these two terms are used interchangeably. So it's important to understand the difference between the two. So first of all, Git is not equal to GitHub. So like, you must know Git is something different and GitHub is something different. Although like they both have the same prefix, that is Git, but they are two different things. What Git is something like a tool. Okay, so think of like simply a tool which is popularly which is like falls in the category of version control system. So VCS is something like a generic term for this so controlling this software thing, source code thing, and Git is one of the tool. So the various other alternative for the Git are Mercurial, Subversion, and many others. But like Git is the one of the most popular version control system. So VCS or Git is same, but VCS is more of like a generic term. Whereas if we look at the term GitHub, so GitHub, like, you can understand it's a like platform for hosting the source code. So think of like a platform that uses Git to manage the hosting of the source code. So if you are like familiar with the other examples that are GitLabs, Bitbucket, so these are somewhat like similar to the GitHub, which uses Git as the version control system. Okay. So going forward, please remember the difference between Git and GitHub, and these two are not the same. Now we shall proceed on to the next part, that is the installing Git. So of course, when you have to learn the GitHub or Git, you must install it first. Okay. So I have like listed down three operating system. So first of all Windows, then Linux, and then you have Mac OS. So based on the operating system that you have, you just run the command that I have mentioned. So for Windows, you just need to download the setup. So if you just go Google, install Git on Windows, the first link that you will get is of the official Git control website. So you just download the 64-bit Windows setup, okay, and perform the installation. It's very straightforward. You just have to click next, and it will automatically get installed. So this was the Windows part, and coming on to Linux. So if you use Debian based Linux distributions such as Ubuntu or any like Ubuntu, so you can just use the apt package manager, that is run this following command in your terminal: sudo apt install git. It will first of all ask you the password, and it will automatically install the git. So it's again just a one line process. For the Mac OS, I believe it has been already installed on your system. So if you have the Xcode, but even if you have don't, you just need to install Git via the brew, okay, or you just open up the terminal, something like this. If I just open up the terminal on my laptop, I just run brew install git, okay, so it will automatically install the Git. The last thing is your, like, before I recommend, before installing the Git, try checking if you have already Git installed on your system. So to check whether the Git is installed on your system, you just need to open up the terminal. So terminal in Mac OS can be opened by command space and searching terminal. In Linux base, it's simply command control alt T, or you can just press the Windows key and search for the terminal. Similar goes with Windows, so you can just type in the search bar and just open up the terminal. So if I just run this command, if this command runs successful, then it means that Git is installed in our system correctly. So it should throw out the latest version that is installed on your system. So Git version, it says, is 2.33.0. So this means that this Git installed Git is already installed on this system and is working correctly. So if you are getting like error like git command not found or something like that, don't proceed further. Try Google for the solution. If these three steps doesn't work, you must get the output and the latest version of the git as the output. Okay, so don't miss this step. Moving on to the next coming part to the second part, that is creating the GitHub repository. So what is actually repository? So let's understand this. So repository, you can understand it's something like a project. Okay, project can be a Java based project, a React website project, an Android project, a Flutter project, a Python project, okay, a Django project, any project. Or it can be a folder. So not always a project is hosted on the GitHub. It can be a folder or it can be a simply file. Okay, so simply file can be any markdown file, any image file or something like that. So if you look under your GitHub account, so because we haven't created any repository, so if I go to my profile, so just click on your profile. So this is again your public profile view. Again, this is your username and this is your github.com. So just append your username after github.com. It will automatically open up your profile. Okay, so here if you see in the repositories tab, it says doesn't have any public repositories yet. But if I just visit on my personal account, so my personal username is apg. So if I just visit my account, you can see there are a lot many repositories. So I have like total of 81 repositories. So all these this blue color bold projects are your Git repositories. Okay, so you can see there is a one label over here that is public. So public means this is a public repository. Okay, this is not a private repository. So if let's say if I so if this is for a private repository, it will automatically show a private means it is not visible to the public. Okay, but this is your public repository. So even if some third person visits your profile, he can be able to see your uh, different repositories. Now if I just open up any repository, so you can see all the files that are there are listed in this repository page. That is all the different files, the source file. These are generally known as source code files. Okay, this is your readme. So readme is something like the preface of a book. So if I just visit and just see this code or see this files, I can't draw out like what this repository do and what is it all about. So here we attach a preface or a readme.md. Note the extension .md means dot markdown, mark. So it is something like mark down. So that's the official you can say a language for the GitHub readme. So you can read more about that. So here I just write the readme. So it has some predefined syntax. So any repository that contains a readme.md file is automatically populated over here. So here like we provide a general description like what is this project is all about, how to start this project and all the contribution and contributors. So the syntax is also simple. So if I just click on this, you can edit it over here or you can just click on the raw or display the source block. So like this is the source code of the readme.md file, like how the readme is written. So you note this hash double hash. So we shall talk about the readme later in our later series. So this is the basic page of the repository. You have like watch options, so I can watch on any repository. I can fork. So fork again we shall be dealing in our later parts. Star is something like you want to star this repository, like it's something like button on like Instagram or like button on the Facebook. So I can star the repository, like I like this repository. So a repository with many stars means it's useful and it has quite a lot you can say users or downloads. So here if I just open up my another repository, so you can see there will be a lot many stars over here. So for example, if I open my one of my repository avatar glow, so it has the a lot many stars. Okay, so 9 people are watching this. So here, like, we have also different things. This is the description of the project, this is the link of the project, the different tags, and the sponsor things. So this again, these are the commit history. So there are like many, a lot of many options. So just go on and try to find what other options do. So these are the commits. So again, commit also we shall be coming out. These are the issues, pull requests. So as we go deep into this series, we shall be discussing each and every part of this this repository page. So for now, let's continue with creating a new repository. Okay, so if I just go on to the repository, I don't have any public repository yet. So what I will be doing is like click on this new button. So here I am like creating a repository on the dashboard itself. Okay, so there are two ways. Either you can push your project that you have, that is already there in your computer, or you can just create a new repository on the dashboard. So if I just click on the new button, so it's saying like owner is okay, owner is my name, the repository name. So here this is important. So try give a meaningful name. So if like you say first project, or something like your name project, DIY project, so generally like we as a beginner try to name it by our own name. So just don't do that, give it a meaningful name. So let me just name it as first project. Okay, so that conveys like this is my first project. Give a description, although it's optional, but still it's always good to give the description. The description will appear over here. So if I just put a description like this is my first project, great. You can choose the visibility. Again, public means anyone can view it, private means only you can view it. So I will keep this as public. Now here is the interesting part. So it offers you three options for like initializing this repository. Initializing means something like prepare this repository for the initial start. So add a readme file, add a .git ignore, or choose a license. So for now we shall be sticking up to the add a readme file. Readme, I have already told you, it's like the landing cover or the preface of the book or the main page of your repository. So here I shall be using the first option. So this is saying me that this will set the main as the default branch. Okay, so what is a branch and what is main, we shall be again covering it in the later part of the videos. So I am taking up the first option only, and creating a grip repository. So here you can see my first repository has been created. So this is my repository name, this is the description that I put. So here description also comes over here. You have like four different options. Pin. So what is pin? So if you just look at my profile, you can see there are different pins that are already there. Okay, so I have 6 repositories that are pinned over here. So this is again my landing profile. So I can just pin my popular projects over here. So if I just click on the pin, so it will appear on my profile page. So and like anyone can view this, like okay, this is a popular project he has pinned, so he can view that easily. So here we have like the about section. Again, you can edit this as the owner, so you can edit description. If you have a website related to this project, okay, remember this thing, if you have a website related to this project, you can enter the URL here. Topics is something like hashtags. Okay, so here I am using like first project, first maybe GitHub. Okay, learning, you can say hashtag, but try to keep them meaningful. So this is actually helpful in the SEO part, that is search engine optimization. So the more relevant you keep the topics, the more Google find it easy to search the topic. So there are like 3 different options: releases, pages, and environments, and they are enabled by default. What these are the release and packages section. So because like we don't want releases and packages of now, so you can just remove all the 3. So you will see this will be now gone. Okay, now this is the readme of your project. You must always have a readme in your project so as to like give the info what is all this project all about. And the other is your, you must always provide a description that's like something looks like professional. uh, there is an option to star your repository. So as of like for the start, to motivate yourself, always star your own repository, so that is something like a joy feeling or happy feeling. Now there are other different options. So issues, we shall be covering these 6 7 options later. And let's come to the settings. So settings is something like not your profile settings. Okay, this is the repository setting. So repository setting is displays some options. Okay, so you have like if you want to rename your repository, you have any social, like if you share the repository, the image comes in the shareable link. So if you upload the link, upload the image over here, that image preview will be coming in that link preview thing. You have different features like wikis are again the, you can say, documentation of your repository. You want to show issues, sponsorship, and many other different options are there. Okay, so some of them are advanced ones, so we shall be talking it in the later stage. GitHub pages danger zone, so that is important thing. So like if you want to change the repository visibility, like do you want to change it to the private? Previously that was visible to others, but you now don't want to make it public, you want to make it private, so just click on the private. You want to transfer ownership, like if you want to transfer it to some other's account. Okay, like you want to change the owner of this repository, you can transfer it. Archive the repository, you seen that the code isn't that much useful now, so you can archive this. So this will prompt the user that this repository has been archived. Okay, so something like stale code. And delete this repository. So suppose you wish you want to delete this repository, just click on this delete button and type the project, and this will be deleted permanently. Okay, so make sure that you are deleting only when it is required. So if you want to like access the other option, like there is a collaborator, so if you want someone else to have a collaborator and write access to this project, you can invite people. Although this is a something like an open permission, so please be careful. So this will grant access to the repository to other users, so only add when you trust them. There are other this options also, and again we shall be taking this up in our later parts. So that's a very lot many things to cover for the creating the repository. Coming back to our code thing, again we are now on the repository page, and these are the source code files. Now to clone this repository on your computer, just click on the code and you have to run the clone command and use this URL. Okay, now this is something that is a part of the another video. So in the next video we shall be discussing how to pull this project or clone this project, I would say, into your local computer and just edit it. Okay, or you just need do the needful stuff. So till then, I hope that you have liked the video content. So if like you have any difficulty in understanding any part or any feedbacks, please mention them in the comment section below. Okay, so thanks a lot, goodbye.